The man who digs a pit for his brother will one day fall into it himself. A proverb that speaks to the inescapable cycle of actions and their consequences in the arena of power. This saying feels particularly apt today, as former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai prepares to appear before the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Monday, February 16, 2026, in what many see as the latest chapter in a rapidly escalating political and legal drama that began with his own public warning of an impending arrest. This na confirm street news. Na waiting we hear with the report, but be sure say na confirm. Abeg, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop a comment to help us grow and bring you undiluted news. The summons was confirmed by sources close to the former governor, who stated that El-Rufai has been formally invited to the EFCC headquarters in Abuja for questioning. This follows closely on the heels of a tense incident at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport on February 12th, when security operatives allegedly attempted to arrest him on his return from Cairo and seized his international passport from an aide. El-Rufai had anticipated such moves. Just 24 hours earlier, in a widely circulated BBC Hausa interview, he had openly raised the alarm, declaring that 4 of his close associates in Kaduna had already been detained and that it was only a matter of time before the authorities turned their attention to him. He described the political climate as increasingly hostile toward dissenting voices and suggested that the current administration was systematically targeting perceived opponents. The airport confrontation, during which he refused to be taken into custody without proper documentation, only heightened the drama. Now, the EFCC invocation marks a formal escalation, shifting the matter from informal pressure to an official investigative process. If this high-stakes political and legal development has you reflecting on the shifting fortunes of Nigeria's leaders and what it means for accountability in public office, please take a moment to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments on whether this summons represents justice or political targeting, and subscribe to the channel so you stay fully informed as the story continues to unfold. To understand the full significance of Monday's appearance, we need to trace Nasir El-Rufai's remarkable but often controversial journey through Nigerian politics. A former minister of the Federal Capital Territory under President Olusegun Obasanjo, El-Rufai earned a reputation as a no-nonsense technocrat who transformed Abuja's urban landscape through aggressive urban renewal. As governor of Kaduna from 2015 to 2023, he implemented sweeping reforms in education, infrastructure, and security. But his tenure was also marked by fierce criticism over his handling of farmer-herder clashes, which some accused him of managing with ethnic bias. Despite these controversies, he remained a key architect of the All Progressive Congress's success, playing a pivotal role in Bola Tinubu's 2023 presidential victory. However, cracks began to appear. After leaving office, El-Rufai grew increasingly vocal in his criticism of the Tinubu administration, citing what he described as policy missteps, economic hardship, and a departure from the progressive ideals that brought the party to power. He publicly rejected an offer of a ministerial position, citing irreconcilable differences, and eventually defected to the African Democratic Congress, aligning himself with a coalition of opposition figures seeking to challenge the ruling party in 2027. This defection, combined with his outspoken interviews, appears to have placed him squarely in the crosshairs of federal investigative agencies. The timing of the EFCC summons is particularly striking. It comes just days after El-Rufai's airport ordeal and his preemptive warning, suggesting a coordinated sequence of events. The EFCC has not publicly detailed the specific allegations, but sources indicate the questioning may center on financial transactions and asset declarations from his time as governor, a common focus in probes of former public officials. El-Rufai's team has maintained that he will honor the invitation, framing it as a demonstration of his commitment to the rule of law, while simultaneously expressing concern that the process could be politically motivated. This stance echoes the very language he once used when defending government actions against critics during his time in office.
The implications of this development are profound and touch every facet of Nigeria's political ecosystem. Politically, the summons sends a clear signal that even high-profile defectors and critics are not beyond the reach of federal institutions. It could serve as a deterrent to other ambitious politicians considering a break from the APC, while simultaneously galvanizing opposition unity. For the African Democratic Congress and emerging coalitions, El-Rufai's situation may become a rallying point, portraying him as a victim of selective prosecution and strengthening their narrative of an intolerant regime. Socially, the episode risks deepening north-south and intra-northern divides, as El-Rufai retains significant grassroots support in the northwest through his Kwankwasaya political movement. Many of his followers view the EFCC action as an attempt to silence a powerful northern voice ahead of 2027, potentially fueling ethnic and regional sentiments. Economically, prolonged uncertainty around a figure of El-Rufai's stature can unsettle markets and investor confidence, especially in a region already battling insecurity and poverty. On the security front, any perception that the investigation is politically driven could erode public trust in anti-corruption agencies, making it harder to secure cooperation in genuine cases. Public reaction has been swift, passionate, and predictably divided along political lines. Supporters of El-Rufai, particularly in Kaduna and across the northwest, have taken to social media to express outrage, describing the summons as harassment and linking it directly to his defection and criticisms of the Tinubu government. Many have praised his earlier warning as prescient and called for transparency in the EFCC's processes. In contrast, voices aligned with the ruling party have welcomed the development, arguing that no one is above the law and that former officials must account for their stewardship of public resources. Neutral observers and civil society groups have urged restraint, emphasizing the importance of due process and warning against the weaponization of investigative agencies. The absence of a detailed public statement from the EFCC has only fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. Looking ahead, Monday's appearance at the EFCC will likely set the tone for what could become a prolonged legal battle. If the questioning leads to formal charges, El-Rufai may face a trial that tests both the strength of the evidence and the independence of the judiciary. A conviction could effectively end his political career, while an acquittal or dismissal might bolster his image as a persecuted reformer. In the short term, the case will dominate national discourse, influencing alliances and campaign strategies as the 2027 election cycle gathers momentum. The opposition may use it to mobilize support, while the government will be under pressure to demonstrate that the investigation is based on merit rather than politics. For El-Rufai personally, the coming weeks will be a test of resilience as he navigates the same legal machinery he once helped shape. Broader reforms to insulate anti-corruption bodies from political influence could gain traction if the public perceives this case as emblematic of deeper systemic issues. As we conclude this examination of a story that captures the unpredictable nature of power and accountability in Nigeria, I invite you to join the conversation in the comments. Do you believe this summons is a legitimate step toward transparency, or is it part of a larger political strategy? If this detailed breakdown has helped you understand the layers at play, like the video, subscribe to the channel for continued coverage of the forces shaping our nation's future, and turn on notifications so you're always the first to know when new developments emerge. Your participation keeps these important discussions alive and accountable.